Bowl MVP. And you know what? He's a very humble guy, so he signed a new contract, and he's not into that money stuff. That's not who he is. But I did hear when Patrick Mahomes signed a deal, Justin, that people said it was team-friendly. And Jalen Hurts, people said it was kind of team-friendly. And yours, similarly, people said, you know, listen, the Chargers will not be, you know, handicapped with it. And I think some people look at that and say, man, you should take every available penny, but it doesn't sound like the negotiations were divisive or difficult. How did you view the whole thing, if I can ask, the contract?
Yeah, from what I heard, you know, the negotiations were pretty friendly on both sides, and I think that's kind of what I wanted to. You know, the Chargers organization, they've done such a great job taking care of us and supporting us, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And, you know, I couldn't be more happy with the outcome of it and being able to take care of this team and going forward. But overall, I think both sides, you know, they worked really well together, got it done, and it's not a distraction anymore. So I think that's a big bonus, too.
So Austin Eckler said yesterday, he said, listen, Justin's different. It's a different year now. We're going into a fourth season. So I want you to tell me, because you were a kid that was a good student, you were bright, you knew football. But this game is so fast. And Mahomes had mentioned year 3, he's like, the light went on. So I don't know if the light went on for you, but do you notice this camp? Does it feel different?
It does feel different, you know, especially with the new offense and Kellen Moore. We've had so much fun putting in this offense so far, and I've really done my best to take control of this offense and to increase my command over it. And whether it's, you know, protections, routes, adjustments, things like that, I feel like we're making it our own. And, you know, to have guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, they're making plays on the outside, and you just got to let them play ball. And that's what they do best, and my job is just to get them the ball, so we're having fun at that.
Explain how Kellen Moore is different than your other coordinators. So you had Shane Steichen, Lombardi. Explain to me as a layman terms, like, what will it look differently? Is it more jumbo sets? Is it more multiple, no more motions? What will be different, Justin, about it?
I think we've done a great job of installing everything so far, whether it's jumbo or whether it's unbalanced or whether we're going tempo or slowing the ball down and getting bigs in there. I think we've done a great job of installing everything and being ready for each situation. Kellen's done a great job of having played the position that he really understands, you know, the protection, the time behind the line. You don't have a whole lot of time to get the ball off, and so he gets that feel. And we've done a great job working with the offensive line, communicating exactly what we want with the protection. So I feel like in that regard, you know, he's done a great job communicating that with us.
Okay, so you had some really interesting rookies. Tom Telesco, your GM, is not only a friend, but he's done a very good job in the draft, especially with early picks. But sometimes you get stars in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Is there a young player, maybe this draft or the last draft, where you looked at him, Justin, and thought, oh, he's ready to contribute. This guy can really play?
I think Josh Palmer over the past couple of years has been awesome. He's taken so many big strides in the past couple of years, and you know, he might have been a later draft pick, but he's one of those guys that has really stepped up. Especially when Keenan and Mike went down last year, he needed to step up for us big time, and he came through. And you know, I think this year Quentin Johnston is going to be an incredible receiver. He's a star already, and he's making huge plays. So I'm going to be really excited to watch him play this year.
So Netflix has this new documentary on quarterbacks. Now I don't know if you've got even a second to watch it, but they've really shown the personal, the human side, the family, the kids. Now, I'm sure, in fact, I think I read somebody called you or somebody called your agent, and would you ever be, because you're a pretty quiet guy, would you ever be willing to do that, or is it something that's just kind of a turnoff for you?
I have not been approached by it. But I think I'd be pretty boring on the show. You know, I don't do a lot outside of football. So most of the footage would probably be just from football practice, meetings, and things like that. And we've kind of done that with Hard Knocks. So I don't have too much going on outside of football. So I might not be the best candidate for that.
You know, it's interesting because the Chargers are in Los Angeles, and they obviously, you know, you're doing our show. But you're, and at Oregon, the same thing. You were the face of the franchise. It's not that you're uncomfortable with it, but there is something about you, kind of your own cat. How do you kind of view the media? Opinionated guys? How do you view it as a franchise quarterback in the NFL? Netflix, guys, opinionated guys. It could be me. It could be Skip Bayless. Talk radio, media. How do you view it?
I just never want to be distracted. I want to keep my focus on football, and that's the most important thing. And when I wake up in the morning, it's, all right, how can I be a better quarterback, better teammate, better person? And if you listen too much to what's going on in the media or on TV shows or on talk shows, I think you lose that focus, and you can get swayed one way or another. And I just don't think that's best for me to listen to. And so I've done my best to kind of stay away from it, focus on football, and be a good teammate.
So you walked into this team with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and some veteran guys. Now you're moving into the veteran stage. Are you more comfortable now voicing an opinion, being verbal? Do you feel like now it's kind of your club and these are your guys?
It's gone by really fast, but I do feel that way. You know, I've gotten so comfortable around these guys, and it's such a great locker room and great teammates that, you know, anyone can speak up, anyone can talk their mind, and we can work on something together. And whether times are good or times are bad, being the same person all the time is huge for us. And, you know, I've felt like I've had much better command of this team, of this offense, especially moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to that this year as well.
Okay, you're a Pac-12 guy. You grew up in the shadow, Sheldon High, Eugene, Oregon. Are you bitter about what's happened? Are you excited? What do you make of what's happened to the Pac-12, the top 4 programs moving to the Midwest and the Big Ten?
Yeah, it's going to take some time to get adjusted to that, but I'm excited. You know, kind of like we said, it's a great opportunity for them to go play some football against some really good football teams. Growing up a fan of the Pac-10, it's going to be tough kind of moving on from that, but it's a great opportunity for those guys to go branch out, do something special. And so I'm rooting on Oregon. I'm rooting on all those teams, and looking forward to watching some pretty good college football this year.
So, Justin, you're about 6'5"-ish. I think you're probably about 225. You look leaned up, so I don't know what your weight is. But when you come into the league, obviously as a college player, I watch you at the Rose Bowl, you're bigger and stronger than a lot of guys. Then you get to the NFL, everybody's big, strong. Kind of a weird question, but in terms of your body, genetically you're a big kid. Are you trying to get bigger, leaner? Your arm strength, does it change? Like, how are you physically, 4 years now, professional training? How have you changed sort of not just the mentals, but just you physically? What matters now to you? Do you need to be bigger to take more hits? Take me through that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think for me personally, I started about 240, week 1, and I try and maintain that for as long as I can. It's a long season, and, you know, injuries kind of rack up and dings and bruises like that. So you just have to be at your best physically for 17, hopefully, 20 plus weeks. And so for us, it's all about recovery, maintenance, keeping that strength going on as long as you can. But unfortunately, with those injuries and bruises and things like that, you're not going to be able to lift as much. So for me personally, it's just trying to stay on to 240 as long as I can.
Justin, you had an injury last year. You didn't talk about it. It was painful. It was ribs. And by the way, rib injuries don't heal quickly. There's not much you can do. You just have to let them heal. Can you now, in hindsight, talk about, you played with some pain last year. How long was that stretch where you were just not 100%?
Yeah, I think it was several weeks where it affected me, and I had to unfortunately kind of change my mechanics a little bit, and because of the rib injury, I wasn't allowed to throw the ball over the top as well as I would have liked, and so I kind of had to alter my mechanics a little bit here and there, but I felt comfortable going out there. I thought the training staff did a great job of protecting me and making sure that I was ready to go and safe out there when I stepped foot on the field. But it was tough, and time was the best thing for it, and 8 or 9 weeks down the road, was feeling better, was getting better, but it's never easy. But I was thankful for those training staff watching out for me.
Finally, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and you have been together now. This will be your 4th year. Without giving away any trade secrets, are there things now, a look, a signal? Are there nonverbal stuff? When you were around these guys constantly, it's just like your brothers, your family. Do you have now like a relationship with those guys, Keenan and Mike, that is grown and developed, that you can sense you can hide stuff from the viewer, from the defense, that maybe you couldn't as a rookie?
I think big time. I think that's a great point that you bring up, and being around those guys for so long that you kind of understand the leverage that they get played against. And if a guy's inside leverage, Keenan knows that, Mike knows that, and they're able to kind of beat that and understand where I'm going to try and put the ball. And the more time we spend together, the more defense that we look and see against, their knowledge is only going to increase. And they're so smart. They've been around for so long that we've got a great feel for each other. And it doesn't take long for me to know exactly, hey, this is the route he's going to run. This is how he's going to try and run it. And Keenan and Mike, they're always trying to make things up and create these new routes, and it's a fun experiment to be a part of.
Austin Eckler's great. He's been terrific for you. He can catch, he can run, he can block. His contract situation, does it make you anxious? How do you feel about that whole thing?
He's the ultimate teammate. He's an incredible leader of our offense, and he's a great guy to have.